Hey there, welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something totally fascinating, but yeah, maybe a little uncomfortable. We're breaking down the true internal architecture of hatred. It's a heavy word, right? Most of us dodge the topic, but figuring out the literal mechanics behind this intense emotion is actually a massive game changer for your mental well-being. So let's just jump right in and see what the research actually reveals.
So, let's skip the pleasantries for a second and start with a deeply personal question. Have you ever hated someone and wondered why? Like, really think about it. Think about that one former friend, or maybe a coworker whose mere name literally makes your blood pressure spike. Have you ever caught yourself in the middle of that burning dislike and thought, wait, where is this actually coming from? Why is this person getting free rent in my head? It's a bold question for sure, but validating this very human experience is exactly where we need to start today. We literally all go through it, but almost none of us stop to actually decode it.
So, let's kick things off with Section 1, the origins of hate. We're going to look inward to see where this intense emotion actually comes from before it bubbles up.
The first crucial point we uncover here is honestly kind of mind-blowing. Hate rarely begins with the other person. It often begins inside us. Completely counterintuitive, right? We're so wired to point the finger outwards and say, I feel this way entirely because of what they did. But the reality? The research shows it almost always starts as a deeply internal psychological process. We just project it outward. Why? Because psychologically speaking, projection is a super convenient defense mechanism. It's way easier for our brains to blame someone else than to sit there and analyze our own internal discomfort. Hate doesn't just poof into existence from nowhere. It absolutely takes root in our own soil first. Okay, so what exactly does that soil look like? The source material lays out 3 specific internal triggers of hate. Number 1, they hurt us. Number 2, they remind us of painful memories. And number 3, we have secret envy of something they possess. These are fascinating when you really pull them apart. The first one, they hurt us, is super straightforward, right? A boundary was crossed, real pain happened, and hate pops up like an emotional shield. But look at number 2. They remind us of painful memories. In this case, the person might not have done a single thing wrong to you directly, but maybe they have the exact same mannerisms as a toxic ex, or the way they talk echoes a really stressful time in your life. Your brain is basically sounding the alarm based purely on association. And then there's the third trigger, secret envy. Now this requires some serious self-awareness to admit. Sometimes that intense, unexplainable dislike for a colleague is actually just masking a deep-seated insecurity about our own lives. Hating that successful coworker? Yeah, it's often just a defense mechanism protecting our own insecurities about where we are in our professional journey.
And this perfectly illustrates what happens biologically once one of those triggers is flipped. The brain perceives a threat and replays negative emotions until anger grows stronger. You see, when a trigger is activated, your brain doesn't just let it go. It sees a genuine, literal danger to your well-being. So it traps you in this toxic loop. Every single time you mentally rehearse those imaginary arguments in the shower or relive a slight during your commute, your brain is actually releasing stress hormones like cortisol. It tricks your body into thinking you're under physical attack right then and there. Through this constant, agonizing mental replay, the anger just builds and builds. Your brain thinks it's doing you a solid by keeping you on high alert, but really, it's just pouring gasoline on the fire.
That brings us right to Section 2, the true cost. Now that we know how this loop works, let's look at the actual damage it causes to our lives.
Now, this right here is the major aha moment of this entire explainer. Hate doesn't hurt the other person as much as it hurts you. So many people go their whole lives without realizing this. We hold on to hate because we think it's this powerful weapon we're wielding against the person who wronged us, right? But it's totally not. The painful irony here is that hatred is essentially a weapon with a curved arrow. It points straight back at the person holding it. You are the one carrying the burden of this emotion, not them.
Let's put this side by side. Look at the damage to you versus the impact on them. Holding on to hate literally steals your peace, drains your daily energy, and completely robs you of your happiness. You are carrying this incredibly heavy, exhausting psychological backpack. Now look at the impact on them. The source material hits us with a staggering reality. They may not even know how you feel. Just think about the sheer absurdity of that for a second. You're losing sleep, pacing around drafting angry 2 a.m. essays in your head, heart pounding out of your chest, while the target of your hate is probably fast asleep, living in blissful ignorance, completely and totally unaffected. It's an entirely one-sided drain on your life.
So how do we actually fix this? Let's move into Section 3, choosing your peace, and figure out how to stop hatred from controlling things.
Okay, so how do mentally strong people resolve this?
The psychology points to a really clear roadmap with 3 steps. First, they learn from the pain. Second, they set healthy boundaries. And third, they move forward without carrying emotional baggage. Now, this isn't just a random list. It's a very deliberate sequence. First, you don't just ignore what happened. You actively extract the lesson from that pain. Then, you use that exact lesson to set a rock-solid boundary. If someone hurts you, you put up a wall to make absolutely sure it doesn't happen again. You protect your space. And here is the real magic of this sequence. Setting that secure boundary is exactly what allows you to do step 3, move forward, without the emotional baggage. Think of that baggage like that heavy backpack we talked about earlier. Setting a boundary is what finally lets you unclip the straps, drop the bag on the trail, and keep hiking upward, completely unburdened.
But to get that forward momentum, we have to fundamentally redefine a really loaded word: forgiveness. Here, forgiveness simply means choosing your own peace over endless anger. Now, I know for a lot of folks, the word forgiveness sounds weak, like you're saying what they did was somehow okay. But honestly, scratch that. This is a massive paradigm shift. Notice the caveat here. It does not mean trusting someone again. You aren't inviting them back to Sunday dinner or excusing their toxic behavior. Not at all. Forgiveness is actually an incredibly empowering act of emotional self-preservation. You're basically cutting the cord so you can be free. Choosing your own peace means deciding, once and for all, that your mental energy is way too valuable to let someone else drain it.
The incredible frameworks we decoded today all come straight from the research and content over at Humanity Decoded 1986. Understanding these internal mechanics is such a huge step in recognizing our own behavioral loops. So if this explainer resonated with you and kind of helped you figure out your own internal architecture, I absolutely recommend checking out their work. If you want to dive deeper into psychology and human behavior, be sure to subscribe to Humanity Decoded 1986 for more insights just like this.
As we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final provocative question to really chew on. Who are you giving your peace away to right now? If hate is really just an internal loop that steals your energy while the other person walks completely free, well, then you hold the ultimate power to stop the transaction entirely. Think about that in your own life today, long after this explainer ends. Take back your peace, set those boundaries, drop the heavy baggage, and cut the cord.